With 2023 fast approaching, and right now I'm actually filming this on December 1 of 2022, setting your goals is going to be something that will just naturally, something you want to do. Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal set after this video is to walk you through the process of setting your goals for 2022. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own virtual assistant company here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. With 2023 fast approaching, and right now I'm actually filming this on December 1 of 2022, setting your goals is going to be something that will just naturally, something you want to do, because as you are growing your career, as you're growing your business, whatever you're currently focusing on, it does help to have different things that you want to make sure you are able to do in the next year. Now, I've done multiple videos about this before. I've done a video on how to set your goals for 2020, 2021, 2022. So of course, I just felt it was apt to do it for 2023. Now, there's multiple reasons why setting your goals is actually pretty magical. But honestly, for me as a business owner and as someone who has been doing this for a while, it's super helpful to know what I'm going to be looking forward to next. What are the things that I'm working towards? And it's a really good reminder that I am growing, that I am pushing myself beyond my own limit. But that's for me. For some people, it might not be a total match to have, as intense as I usually am. But it is helpful to know, again, what that thing is that you're looking forward to and when to expect it, or planning your way instead of letting life happen to you. You happen to be the one in control of your life. So the first thing is I want to break down the process that I've taught before, again in other videos, of breaking down from your big, hairy, audacious goal down to your habits. Now, I'm not gonna dive into it a lot just because, again, I have so many videos on it already. But if this is your first time maybe seeing this process of mine, then I do want to give you guys that good overview. So you want to start with, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? What is that ridiculous goal that sounds, again, ridiculous to other people when you say it? However, for you, it makes total and perfect sense. Now, I usually ask this even in the interview when I'm interviewing possible applicants for my business. But one way that I usually ask this is, if you had all the money, the resources in the world. So sometimes an example I'll say is, let's say you won the lottery 5 times and you just have a ton of money. You've already put aside money for debt or other things. What would you do for it with the rest of your resources, with the rest of your money? It's a big, hairy, audacious goal because, again, it seems really scary. It seems ridiculous when other people hear it, but for you, it makes sense. It's audacious, it's big, and it's hairy, but it's something that you want to make happen in your life. So for example, for me, my own big, hairy, audacious goal is to be able to start a business in New York and have an apartment in New York. Because for me, as a 20-something-year-old Filipina, that's peak success of if I can make it in New York, I can make it anywhere. It's been my goal basically since I was 15 to be able to go to New York. And I have broken it down basically to, these are the different things that I want to be able to do, so then I can reach that goal. It's not enough for me to just visit New York. I want to be able to start a business there and live there for at least 6 months, building that business. So that's my big, hairy, audacious goal. It's going to be different for different people. For some, just building a house is a big, hairy, audacious goal. For some, traveling the world is big, hairy, audacious goal. Let me know in the comments what your big, hairy, audacious goal is. I would love to know. Next, once you have your big, hairy, audacious goal, you then want to ask yourself, okay, if this is my goal, what can I do in the next 5 years? Or for the sake of this goal setting, what can I do in 2023 to get me closer to that goal? So for example, for me in 2022, the thing that I needed to do was I needed to productize a little bit of how I did 2XU. That was kind of what I was aiming around. 2X is my business, by the way. And I really wanted to get to the point where more and more things are less to do with me. Basically, I was making sure that I was getting my business ready to scale. And to a certain point, I did a lot of that because to be able to start another business in New York, I needed to grow this business that I have right now to a certain point, and to the point where I can step away to start that new business. So it all kind of makes sense and connected dots in my head. Now, after you break it down from a year of okay, what do I need to do this year? Or how do I want this year to end so I can move towards that goal that I have? So then you want to break it down by quarter. What are your quarterly goals? What are the things, or different milestones basically, that you want to make sure that happens every quarter to get you closer to that? So for example, for me, again, for 2022, it was getting a certain number of clients. It was being able to get 2x2 to a point where, again, everything is written down, so then I can step away or someone else can do it. And also for me to take more trips. That was actually part of my goal, was to take a lot of trips so that I keep testing out to see how much of my time was actually inside of my business versus me being able to create a new one. Then after you break down to your quarterly goals, you want to break it down monthly. So every month, what are you going to do to be able to reach that quarterly goal? And then finally, the bigger thing is then breaking it down to your habits. So your habits, of course, build to your monthly goal, which builds to your quarterly goal, which builds to your 2023 goal, which builds to your big, hairy, audacious goal. So basically, what are the different things that you want to do day by day, week by week, month by month that will help build you to that certain point? So for me, this is where I break things down, where, okay, I want to have a habit of working out consistently because I want to be a healthy person to be able to get to New York. I broke it down where I wanted to have certain number of sales calls that I did for 2XU, so then I knew how many people I needed to call before I usually get a close. So it was breaking down in the different parts of my life, how did I want to measure and track, so then I know when I am on track for the goal. So that's basically the very short version of how to break down your big, hairy, audacious goal to habits that you can now do every day that work you towards those goals. So now that we have that established, you want to also now ask yourself, who is your ideal self? What does that person look like? That person living your big, hairy, audacious goal, what are they doing day by day, week by week, month by month? And then you want to start showing up as that person, as if you already have that thing. Now, whether or not you believe in manifestation or being able to, attract the things that you want to have in life, when you are able to put yourself in the state of, this is the person that I want to become, you're literally moving yourself out of where you are now and moving yourself towards where you want to be. So for example, let's say one of your goals is to become an international speaker. If you stay where you are, you're not going to probably get there unless you're already a very flamboyant, eloquent person. If you want to become an international speaker, you are going to step out and become that person already. Be that person already. It's not really a fake it till make it. It's more of like, this is now who I am to become who I want to be. So, for example, when I was starting out on this YouTube channel, I had no idea how to speak to a camera. It felt so awkward. It felt so weird. It sometimes still does, but I did the small steps of doing one video a day. I did one video a day on Facebook at that time. There wasn't a TikTok yet, but basically that was how I gained the confidence to be able to do YouTube videos like these, to be able to speak on local and international stages, because again, I wanted to build myself up to be that person. So then it makes it really easy for you to ask yourself whenever you're deciding of like, hey, does this actually serve my future self or my future person? So for example, for me, on days where I really don't want to work out, I ask myself, what would future Leanne do? She would work out. She would probably work out. So that's usually what I end up doing anyway, is then I follow, okay, this is the person I want to become. These are the steps that I have to do to become that person. Next is, I want to really go over, and you've probably heard of this before, go over creating SMART goals. Now, if you've already heard of SMART goals, then you can probably skip this part, but I want to go in more specifics of how you can actually use this to move your goals forward and not just be a highfalutin goal that you set at the beginning of the year and you're not actually going to follow through. Now, S is for specific, M, measurable, A, attainable. This is something where people usually fail at, is on setting the A. Either they make this super freaking easy to do, or it's something super hard, so then they fail somewhere in the middle. So people usually like, yep, this is specific, I want to lose 10 kilos in 1 year and be able to measure it easily because you're measuring your weight. And then, but then attainable, based on where you're at, based on your habits, based on the things that you know about yourself, can you actually reach that goal? So it's asking yourself, as you're becoming this person, is it big of a leap? Is it actually attainable? Or can I build up small wins within myself where I can believe that this is possible? So for example, last year in 2021, I had the goal to lose weight because I had started getting a little bit of health problems coming up. So I had to do it step by step. Like, hey, the goal is 10 kilos, but right now my goal is just 1. And then it became 2, and it became 3, 4, 5. So I guess the part I really want to emphasize here is that when you're creating your SMART goals, is you want to make sure that it is actually something that you believe in your head that you can actually do, or else you'll never get there. And of course, R is relevant, meaning relevant to you where you're at. Then T is time bound. Those are different things that you want to check off as you're creating your different goals for the year. So then again, you're making sure that you're able to actually get to them and not just bit something that you just wrote out on your board at the beginning of the year. Next is I want to dive into setting personal goals and setting career goals. Now, when it comes to setting personal goals, this can be just looked at of like, how do you want to develop yourself in your life that will carry through the next 20, 30 years of your life. So health is usually one of the first personal goals that you want to set, depending on where you're at, whether that's building a routine, whether that's building more just a healthy habit of getting out. What are the different hobbies that you want to start adding into your life? Basically, what is something that you want to look forward to as you are at your place of work, as you are at your job? Now, when it comes to your career goals, what are the things that you want to look forward to as you're living your personal life? So then they can become intermingled with each other because you're looking forward to one thing or the other. Now, when it comes to your career goals, this is probably something that you want to make sure that you cover with your boss or your manager, because you guys want to make sure that you're aligned on what are the things that are coming basically for 2023. So as early as now, you can start looking at or asking your boss, hey, what are the goals for the next year? So then you can start aligning yourself with those goals and not be so, not aligned with your boss. And of course, when it comes to actually now combining your personal and career goals, just remember that it's just still you. It's still you as a person. You might have a different persona at work. You might have a different persona when it's just you and your friends, but it's still just you. So just keeping in mind, again, who is that person that you are wanting to become? Who is the person that you are building yourself towards as you get to your big, hairy, audacious goal? And of course, with coming with SMART goals, you want to make sure that you also track your goals. Now, I've also talked about this on how to track your goals. I use just Notion. I have it broken down where I have my big, hairy, audacious goal. I have my year goal, quarterly and monthly, and then my habits that I want to make sure that I follow. So I have all of that in just one dashboard that I have, and it makes it easy for me to be able to check off and see if I'm on track or not. One of the things that I also do is I just do an audit at the end of the month of like, hey, based on my monthly goal, how did I do? Or every end of the quarter, based on this goal, how did I do? And of course, now as the end of 2022 is coming, I'm going to do an audit of like, how did I do based on my goals? So then I can also make changes as needed. The next thing that you need to do to be able to make your goals happen in 2023 is to set boundaries to make it happen. What I mean by this is you want to tell other people what are certain things that you don't want to do anymore because of the goal that you have in mind. As an example, one of the things that I've kind of just started doing is just cut off sugar. And that was one of the things I had to cut off anyway because I had almost high blood sugar. But for me, I had to make that choice. And then I had to tell other people like, hey, whenever we're out, please don't tempt me with desserts. Please don't, offer me. I'm not restricting you and your lifestyle. That's your choices. But for me, for my health, because I'm literally having, I had to take medication basically at one point, I can't have sugar. So you're setting boundaries with other people, especially those that you hang out with a lot, whether it's your partner, your family, your friends, of the things that are just going on with you. So then they're just aware. They don't feel like they were a jerk for crossing your boundary. So you have to communicate this with the people that you are with, so then it's easier for you to be able to get towards that goal. However, when it comes to also creating boundaries, is you also have to create the environment to succeed. So not having any sugar in the house as an example, or being able to make sure that if there is access to sugar that you're able to double check yourself before you actually order it. There's a lot of different ways that you can put it, but boundaries in your environment are the things that will help you accelerate towards your goal. And lastly, one of the fastest ways that you can get your goal is by celebrating. And what I mean by this is making sure that you do recognize, reach certain milestones. And this is something that is a little bit hard to do when you're a little bit hard on yourself, like I am sometimes, but you want to make sure that you celebrate your goals, that you write it down, take yourself out on a date or ask your friends, I'm like, hey, let's go out. I just got this goal that I have, because it's going to build momentum for you and going to build that belief that you can do the things that you are setting yourself for, which then builds up more momentum for the future. So make sure that you celebrate your wins, celebrate your goals or your milestones as you cross them. And then you can also keep in mind that you can change and pivot as you need it. Once you make a decision, change the plan, but not the decision to keep moving forward. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. And again, comment below, what's your own big, hairy, audacious goal? I would love to support that in any way that I can. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and with the small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!